Hi baby, it's me, Mama. How are you doing? Are you having fun? Okay, well I'm going to read you a book, okay? I'm going to read you Cinderella. Okay, ready? Cinderella. Once upon a time there was a beautiful woman named Cinderella, and she lived with her wicked stepmother and stepsisters. They were cruel and treated her like a servant in her own house, but she found happiness with her friends the animals and still held out hope that one day her dreams would come true. One morning, Cinderella and her good friend Jack, the mouse, Colby, get out of there, rescued a new mouse from a trap. They named him Gus. Then Cinderella went downstairs to feed the barn animals and prepare breakfast for her stepfamily. As Cinderella worked, her stepmother's evil cat Lucifer caught sight of Gus and began chasing him. Frightened, Gus hopped onto one of the breakfast trays and hid under a teacup. Look it, there he is. There's Lucifer. There's Mean Mama. Thankfully, Gus was safe. But after serving the tray to her stepsister Anastasia, Cinderella found herself in big trouble. For her punishment, her stepmother handed Cinderella an extra long list of chores for the day. Poor Cinderella. That afternoon, a royal messenger arrived with a notice from the king. Cinderella brought it to her stepmother at once. "There's to be a ball in honor of her highness, the prince," her stepmother read aloud. "And by royal command, every eligible maiden must attend." Every eligible maiden? Harvey? Well, you saw Harvey, baby. He misses you. Every eligible maiden? Cinderella thought, "Why, that means I can go too." To her surprise, Cinderella's stepmother said she could attend as long as she finished her drawers and found something appropriate to wear. Cinderella was overjoyed. She ran to her room and took out her mother's old gown to fix up. But it wasn't long before Cinderella's stepsisters yelled, "Cinderella!" She knew the dress would have to wait until all her chores were done. Cinderella's animal friends knew she wouldn't have time to fix her gown for the ball, so they did it for her, complete with a beautiful new sash and some blue beads. When Cinderella came downstairs in her new dress, her stepsisters were furious. "Those are my beads," Drizella yelled. "That's my sash." As she pulled at the strands in rage, I messed it up. When Cinderella came downstairs in her new dress, her stepsisters were furious. "They're my beads," Drizella yelled, pulling at the strand with rage. "That's my sash," screeched Anastasia, ripping it off the gown. With her dress tattered and torn to shreds, Cinderella could no longer go to the ball. She was so upset she ran out into the garden and burst into tears. Aw, poor Cinderella. Just when Cinderella thought her dreams would never come true, a miracle happened. Cinderella couldn't believe her eyes, but standing before her was her very own fairy godmother. "Come now, dry those tears," her fairy godmother said. "You can't go to the ball looking like that." And so with a few taps of her wand, Cinderella's fairy godmother turned a pumpkin into a carriage, Bruno the dog into a footman, a horse into a coachman, and 4 Cinderella's mice friends into coach horses. Then her fairy godmother pointed her wand at Cinderella and chanted, "Bippity-boppity-boo." Suddenly the ripped dress became a stunning blue ball gown, and Cinderella's old pink shoes turned into glass slippers. Wow, look at how pretty she looks, huh? Before Cinderella left, her fairy godmother gave her some words of warning. On the stroke of 12, the spell will be broken and everything will be as it was before. Cinderella listened carefully to her fairy godmother and promised to be back by midnight. Then she boarded her gorgeous coach and rode off for the palace ball. From the moment Cinderella entered the ballroom, the prince couldn't take his eyes off of her. She was the most beautiful maiden he had ever seen, and when he couldn't wait to meet her. Cinderella, too, was enchanted by this handsome young gentleman, though she didn't even know who he was. But the king seemed the happiest of all, for he wanted nothing more than to see his son fall in love and get married. Cinderella and the prince twirled and waltzed together for hours as they danced. Cinderella and the prince fell deeply in love. Though there were hundreds of other eligible girls at the ball, the prince didn't dance with another maiden the entire night. The king was positive that his son would soon announce his engagement to his lovely young woman. Just then the clock struck midnight. Cinderella couldn't believe her ears. She had to get back to the carriage before the spell broke. "Goodbye," she called to her handsome dance partner as she ran down the steps. "I don't even know your name," cried the prince. "How will I find you?" Cinderella didn't have time to answer. In fact, she was running so fast she even lost one of her glass slippers on her way down the steps. The next day, Cinderella learned that the glass slipper belonging to the prince's true love had been found, and that the Grand Duke was going to each home to find the maiden whose foot fit the glass slipper. Cinderella had never been happier. The prince was in love with her. Cinderella went to her room to change for the Grand Duke's arrival, but before she knew it, her stepmother had locked her inside. While Drizella and Anastasia each tried to force their giant foot into the dainty glass slipper, Jack and Gus managed to slip the Cinderella's stepmother's pocket and retrieve the key from Cinderella's room. They freed Cinderella just in time as she ran as fast as she could to catch the Grand Duke as he left. "Your Grace," cried Cinderella from the top of the stairs, "may I try it on?" Her stepmother was bursting with rage as the footman carried the slipper over to Cinderella. Her stepmother tripped him, and the slipper hit the floor and broke into pieces. The Grand Duke began to sob. Now he would never find the prince's true love. Though her stepmother thought she had last ruined Cinderella's chances, Cinderella pulled out the matching glass slipper from her pocket. "I have the other slipper," she reassured the Grand Duke with a smile, and slipped the shoe onto her foot. It fit perfectly. The Grand Duke brought Cinderella back to the palace, where she was reunited with her love, the prince. It wasn't long before they were married, and they lived happily ever after. Well, everyone except for Cinderella's wicked stepsisters and stepmother, who could spend the rest of their lives bowing down to Her Royal Highness Princess Cinderella. Alrighty, well, I hope you enjoyed the story, baby. I miss you. I hope you're having fun at Shell's. Okay, we'll see you soon. Bye. Mwah.